All right, folks, welcome back to Kings of Opinion, episode 60. We were on a brief vacation hiatus last week, and with good reason, because we went up to Villa Roma last week and checked out the Villa Roma resort and golf course. Now, I don't know about you, Ernie, but before I get into a rant, we'll talk a little bit about Villa Roma. So, I would give the golf course an A-, only because the clubhouse was a little outdated.
Okay.
And then the Villa Roma resort would probably fall somewhere in the C range.
I would agree with you.
Right?
I think that's pretty fair assessment.
Right? Like the resort, as big as it was, it was, clean, somewhat nice in certain areas, but you could see like they haven't renovated it since whatever happened. Like I heard stories that there was a fire there, where I don't know, because everything looked like it was still from the 1970s.
Oh,
if not
really?
80s. Yeah, someone said there was a fire there. And originally it was owned by Italians, and now someone else owns it.
Oh, okay.
So I guess maybe hence the name, the Villa Roma, right? So
right.
they sold it to whoever they sold it to, I think after the fire. Now, I don't know when the fire was, and I mean, if we really care, we could look into it, but it seems like it's just a bit outdated. It's a good place if you want a cheap vacation, I would assume. Like, I don't know how much rooms are regularly there, especially during the summer.
And don't forget we stayed in the main building, which was like the hotel part of it. The buildings on the outside, which I guess are more of like timeshare.
Which one are you talking about? The
units.
blue ones?
Yeah, those seem to be pretty recent, pretty modern. And
Do you think so? Because
yeah.
Devang thought opposite. Devang was saying that the style from the outside, where it's like the wood paneling outside, is like from the 70s and 80s. Like, do you remember the houses back then?
Yeah, but those definitely aren't from the 70s or 80s. I mean, I wouldn't think so. I could be wrong, but
Okay.
They looked a little bit more up to date than that.
I agree with you. I thought so too. Like, I thought, and maybe, what's funny? Maybe those were the things that were burnt down or got into a fire.
Could be.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's why they look somewhat newer or whatever, I mean, and granted, we didn't check the inside of any of these places, so we don't know.
Right.
We could go in there and it could look just like our rooms. But I'll tell you this much, like, the bathroom was, I would say, fairly renovated. I would say within the last 15 or so years.
And big.
Like, you had you had the stand-in shower, and then you had a tub.
Right.
And then you had the toilet and then a whole nother little baby room. And you had room there for 2 sinks, even though they only had one. You could have had a second one almost right next to it.
And the size of the rooms were nice. They were very comfortable. We were able to relax in the living room and chill out.
And that's why it stays around that C area. You could go C+ or C- depending on what. Like, the living room, having a living room was great. You had at least 5 or 6 places to sit, you know what I mean, between the table that they had in there, the couch, and the 2 chairs. It was just not modernized. Like, it's all old furniture, rugs.
Right. It wasn't a modern hotel casino where you go and the rooms are, done up every couple of years.
Right, correct. And like, at best, like I said, they renovated the bathroom and the kitchen, because they also did have a small little kitchenette, so to speak, basically, which is great. So like, if you have kids and you go up there, you could cook your own food and whatnot. And like maybe painted the walls and whatnot. Other than that, everything else looked pretty much old.
And I'm sure they're quite busy come the summertime when the kids are out of school, because it looks like it would be very accommodating for families with young kids that don't want to go on a big long trip and something like that for the locals. So.
And I'll tell you this: what I did like about it is you had the 2 bedrooms as well, right? And it had a queen bed and a king bed.
Yeah.
So that's nice too, because maybe not every room was like that, but we had like that whole little wing, and every one we looked into pretty much had the same setup. So like, they could have thrown full beds in there or whatever. So you had enough room to fit at least a family of 4 at the very least. You know what I mean? Like, you're sharing bed. The kids are sharing a bed, but I guess depending on how old they are, it's really not a big deal. But the whole package that we got was insane.
Yeah.
Like, the food there was pretty good too.
Right.
Like, some of us thought we were gonna get hot dogs and hamburgers all day every day, and we didn't. We got like four course meals. So that was good, and you can't beat it for the price. I hope we do get to go back next year. Overall, it was a great experience. I think the golf course, getting back to that, since we didn't talk much about it, the golf course in itself was gorgeous.
Yeah, I loved it. I liked it.
And it plays to our strength better than any other course I think we've ever played on.
And I think probably because it's not a overly used course, it was in great shape.
Fantastic shape even. And by our strength, I mean like we suck at golf, so the fairways are ginormous.
Yeah.
So like you almost always found your ball like off to the sides or whatever. Like there's so much room for mistake, which is good for guys like us that play once a week and we're not like, you know, the retirement, we're playing every day like some of our friends get to. Not going to mention any names, Paul, but you know, it was a lot of fun for me, and it was our first time that I got to play 36 holes in one day. The Scrabble was great. That was to me the most fun because we weren't competing.
For sure. That was definitely a lot of fun.
And I won my first little what was it?
Closest to the
pin. Made some money on that trip too. It made the trip even cheaper. You know, so that was cool too.
Right.
And it was fair too, even with the thing that was broken. We were honest about it, or I should say I was honest about it, and the guy paid up. I definitely think that was going to happen, by the way. So kudos to him. That was really nice because I would have been pissed if I showed up there and I got no money. But whatever, you know. But overall, it was fantastic.
Yeah, listen. Anytime we get together and go away for a few days and relax and get to play. What was it? 4 rounds of golf. That's a good.
And the weather was gorgeous too. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it was almost a little too hot.
Right.
But even still, I'll take that any day.
Yeah. No, it was good. And like you said, for the price, can't beat it.
And now we're back to work 2 days in, and life sucks again, doesn't it? Miserable. But what are you gonna do?
But fortunately we have something to look forward to in the next few weeks, right?
We're less than about a month away, basically. Yeah. You know, I think at the weekend, as a matter of fact, Sunday will be a month.
Yeah.
So after we get through this week, we'll be a month away from Ocean City. And speaking of that, so I don't know if I told you this before, but since we're on the golf subject, my friend went to Myrtle Beach, right? In December, mind you, so whatever, $500. He got an Airbnb house and 4 rounds of golf at Myrtle Beach. And the flight. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. $500 for the house and 4 rounds of golf. And then the flight was $180 each way. So for $860, he golfed in Myrtle Beach. Isn't that crazy?
In December.
So I'm wondering for next year, and maybe we'll throw this out to the guys when they're not, you know, out and not paying attention to stuff. If we could research it now for next year for like a March, April, and see if we could get like a decent thing.
Or do a December trip as well.
The holidays, that's kind of tough, don't you think? You know, I don't know. I might be able to do it for a couple days, but not, I don't know, 4 days. Well, if you do the weekend, maybe. It depends.
Right.
We can figure it out. But I'm saying $860, that's only $100 more than Ocean City, and that's what a flight. And I know you have all the equipment you need for your golf bag. I don't, so I'd have to get a bag. But, and another thing, not to cut off the subject, but you know now the airlines make you sign a waiver if you have a soft golf bag?
Really?
That they're not responsible if anything happens to the golf clubs? My friend just told me this.
No kidding.
Yeah, because he has a hard and soft, and he just came back from a trip, and he had to sign a waiver at the airport. He's like, what are you going to do, not sign it? I'm like, of course not. You're going on the trip. You're going to sign it and hope for the best. But I'm like, I told him, like, you know why that happened? It's because of those college kids that, you know, that went viral when they were watching the guys throw their golf clubs like 10 feet to the next guy. It has to be that, right? It has to be. So if you have a soft bag, for anyone out there that's going to travel, if you have a soft golf travel case, just get a hard one, or just be prepared to sign a waiver that if they mess up your clubs, it's on you.
Use it as your suitcase as well, and load it up with your clothes so the clothes cushion your clubs.
So what I was going to say is, if you have the soft one, that's even a better idea. But if in case you don't want to ruin your clothes or something happen to that, I would go to Staples, invest in like the 25-foot bubble wrap, and just bubble wrap the whole top of that thing. like weave it in and out of your clubs, and then just wrap it around, and then they should be okay after that. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
that's a good idea too.
So that's not bad. But those are just a couple of suggestions. I'm sure you guys are creative out there. You'll figure out all this stuff too. But I'm gonna go by a hard case if and when we do one of these things. He absolutely loved Myrtle Beach, by the way, and I was a big advocate of doing it this year, but no one would get on board because of the flights. But I think we should explore it next year, even if we can't do December.
And I mean, again, I'm sure that the price in December that you, like your friend did, and trying to do it in the middle of the summer is going to be two completely different things.
Well, that's why I said maybe we cut the gap a little bit, and maybe
Right.
like we take an early vacation next year and do like end of March, April, because he did say that December, not that it was chilly, but you were basically wearing what we were wearing when we were golfing up here in 55-degree weather. Like we had the long sleeves,
right.
which it's not terrible,
Right,
it's
right.
not terrible, but there are some people yet again that we golf with that might not be perfect for. Once again, I'm not going to mention any names.
So
Paulie,
maybe we do
but
like late October, early November.
could do that, could explore that too, early November, October-ish, and maybe we don't go for 4 days, maybe we just go for 3. We're flying,
Yeah,
it takes
yeah.
It probably an hour and a half flight.
Right.
So like we go early in the morning, tea time at 1 o'clock, boom, boom, day 3, fly back at night, boom, we're done. You know what I mean? And it might be even cheaper, who knows?
Yeah.
But someone should look into that. I don't know who's going to do that yet. I don't know if it's our old leader or new leader of the golf crew or whatever. But whatever. We'll figure it out. And we got to also thank Steve Kelly for setting up that Villa Roma trip.
Yes,
he did a
yes,
marvelous
yes,
job.
yes.
He was fantastic, and I'm definitely looking forward for what how Devang skilled everything in Ocean. I can't wait to check out the house in Ocean City. That should be a lot of fun. You're gonna be making some pizzas on that trip, which is great. We already had round 1 to that at the barbecue, so that's good. And speaking of which, I came to a decision since we're talking about pizzas. When you have a free afternoon, when you're not doing anything, you're not power washing or running errands or what have you, you're going to be doing. Even though I don't know why you were power washing in the rain, but that's another story for another day.
No, I got done before the rain.
That was torrential downpour, bro. When I looked outside, I'm like, he can't be still power washing.
No.
It was pouring,
I was
dude.
done by then.
Oh, thank God. Because you never answered me when I said, I hope you're still not outside. LOL.
I did answer you.
No, you didn't.
I absolutely
Check tape.
did.
Check tape.
I
check
will.
tape. All right. Anyway, but I want to learn how to make like pizza, like from start to finish, like the dough. Like I don't want to go to Stop and Shop and get the
very
dough.
simple, very simple.
Well, what I'm asking is you're gonna have to teach me one of these days
Yeah.
when you're not doing anything.
sure.
Let me know what to buy. I'll buy all the stuff, the ingredients. I'm sure I have some of the stuff here for the sauce or whatever.
The only thing is, do you have one of those mixers,
What mixers?
like a KitchenAid mixer, the one with the bowl?
No, I don't have one of those.
Yes. I mean, you could do it by hand. It's a lot easier.
What about like a regular hand mixer?
No,
They can't use that.
No.
So we'd have to do it by hand then.
Yeah.
That's good. That's the real old Italian way.
Yeah.
They didn't have mixers
That's
back then.
fine, that's
Yeah,
fine,
we'll
that's
we'll
fine.
get dirty with it. But I wanted to ask you that before, but then we went right into the show, so I'm asking you now. So we'll figure out a time and place to do that. I want to learn from beginning to end, dough, sauce, whatever. Do I need those little cylinder things that you put them on?
Very well. Where are you going to cook them? In your
Probably in
your
my
oven?
oven because I don't have a pizza
Oh,
oven.
you're gonna need
Just a regular pan, right?
Yeah,
I
or
have
or
those.
stone, or you could make it in a. If you have a nice thick frying pan, you can make it right on top of the stovetop on the frying pan.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah, people do that.
I think we're gonna go the oven. I think we'll go with the oven. I don't know. I think we'll do it.
I have a pizza stone that you could borrow if you want.
So you put it on the pizza stone and then put it in the oven?
Well, you put the pizza stone in the oven because you want it to heat up, because the stone takes time to get hot, and then you have to slide the
Well,
pizza onto.
how would you slide the pizza onto that?
You gotta use a
A pan?
spatula.
Oh, a spatula. So you'd have to like double spatula it and like sling it on. That's gonna be very difficult. To tell you that right now.
Or I can lend you one of the screens when you want to do
Or
it.
we could just put it in a square pan. I could start with a Sicilian pie,
Oh,
like a little square, like the like the
you
half
can do
inch
that
pans.
too. You like that?
Yeah, I like
You're
that.
into the thicker style. so
Yeah, I like
that's,
that.
That's good too.
Because that's how my mom makes it. I gotta learn from her too. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bombard her with all this crazy stuff right now. Because we are just talking about her. I was supposed to go and learn how to make her sauce. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I've been putting it off for like a year. I gotta do it. Next weekend when it's raining, I'll come over and learn the sauce. because I'll be honest with you, if it's nice out, I'm going to be golfing. So I'm not going to even tell you I'm going to come on a Saturday or Sunday. Next time it rains, get ready. I'll come over. We'll make the big pot of sauce. Maybe we'll make some bolognese sauce. I'll learn both at the same time. I don't care. I'll devote the whole afternoon to learning the sauce. Once I do it once or twice, I get into it, and then I'll start making it here on my own, and like do what I do with the rainbow cookies, and then like perfect it a little bit, or like just get it to me mine or whatever. But yeah, so we're done with that. I had a rant. I don't remember what it was.
So it couldn't have been negative, right?
It might have been. I was thinking about it on the way home, but I'm not even gonna deal with it. We'll pass on that. So let's just get straight to what I've been waiting like 2 weeks to talk about.
The Yankees?
100%. So the New York Yankees right now, I think they're 46 or 47.
47.
And what, 19 or something like that?
Yeah.
So they're on a roll. Now, for everyone out there that loves the Yankees, I'm sure you're aware that, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, but unlike most Yankee fans, I'm not really worried about it. We didn't have Juan Soto, we didn't have Garrett Cole, we didn't have a few guys in our bullpen. The way I look at it is each game as an individual game. Game 1, like we went to the 11th inning and no one has scored.
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
That's insane to me. Like, I don't even know how that happens when you have a man on second with no outs in the top of the 10th, bottom of the 10th, and you don't even put one run between the two of you. Like, I definitely thought once the top of the 10th was they didn't score, the Yankees were just gonna bunt,
right,
and some kind of a hit or a sacrifice fly or whatever, and they win 1-0. That didn't happen. They wound up losing 2-1. Crapshoot kind of game, no big deal. Either team could have won that game at any point. So whatever. Then the Dodgers beat up on our bullpen game 2. Nessa didn't have his best stuff. He gave up 4 runs, but we were close in the game till like the 6th inning. Then I don't know where Teoscar Hernandez came from. I mean, I know where he came from.
I know.
But like all of a sudden, he just goes off on the Yankees, and
that's usually the case, right?
What are you gonna do, right? So he had a monster game that game, and he feeded off the bullpen, and then we won Sunday's game. A bunch of clutch hits. We were down in that game. I actually placed a bet on DraftKings for the Yankees to come back and win that game when they were losing. I think it was 3-2.
Oh, really?
So I only won $28, but whatever. Money's money. So I'm glad they won that game. And right before the Dodgers, they had an 8-game win streak. So everything was riding high. So if you take those 8 games and those 3, they're 9-2. There's nothing to sneeze at.
Yep. I couldn't believe, obviously not being totally focused at the start of the season with the Rangers and the Knicks and all that stuff. I couldn't believe that yesterday was the first game this season that Judge had not been in.
Yes.
67 games he played.
Isn't that crazy?
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, I'm sure a few of those games were DH games, but even still, for the fact that he's playing center field the majority of those games,
right?
And let's do a little knock on wood. He's been solid so far, and everyone was upset that he didn't play yesterday, and a few other guys didn't play yesterday. And to be fair, I was one of them. You know what I mean? But they have a 4-game series against Kansas City. So they wanted to give a bunch of those guys a little rest, but they still won the game yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it was convincingly, but they went up early in the game 2-0. I think it was the first inning.
Yeah.
And they did it playing what we've been saying for like the last 3 to 5 years.
Small ball.
Exactly. Thank you. And then people were complaining about it. I don't understand it. My thing is this. You win the game, you win the game. I don't care how you win the game. My whole thing that I've been saying for the last few years is I'd like there to be a little bit more of a mix, like we could beat you multiple ways.
Yeah, small ball is so much prettier, right? Because that means everybody's participating.
I mean, yes and no. I agree with you to a certain extent. Now, if you're going to tell me I want that game yesterday or like a game where almost everyone's hitting a home run or a double, I'm going to take the home runs or doubles. But that's not realistic. What I want is a mixture of both. So, like, even yesterday, if they would have hit a home run and made it 6-2, that's a complete game for me. You played small ball for a while, you took the lead. It has multiple effects on all different aspects of the game. Your starting pitcher can relax a little bit and pitch his game because he's got a little bit of a lead. You guys can take a step back and worry about hitting and like just focus on having good at bats because you're already winning. And when Kansas City's actually so far right now is good this year. They're 12 games up.
Very good.
They're 12 games above 500. So they're also nothing to sneeze at. Like they're not the Kansas City Royals that only won 60 games. So you get a lead on a team like that, and you just keep them down. That's what you want to do as a New York Yankee. And they did. They tacked on with some more small ball bunts. I think they had like 3 bunts yesterday, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
You need that because that's what's going to get you wins in the playoffs. Because you're going to have a lot more of those games where you get like clutch base hits here and there and score a run, as opposed to the 3-run home run that Trent Grisham had against the Dodgers to go ahead.
Right.
I mean, he got, and that's poetic justice in itself, he got extremely lucky, if you want to say it, as for lack of a better word, but they were chanting, "We want Soto," and then he hits a 3-run bomb.
Right.
So, like, that's not going to happen in the playoffs as much. Maybe with some of the really good guys, like the Aaron Judges and the Sotos and the Stantons, but Judge hasn't really hit much in the playoffs. If you were going to ask me who's going to do it right now, it'd be Soto or Stanton, and maybe LeMahieu, because those guys have done it in the playoffs, and maybe to a lower extent Rizzo. But you got them firing on all cylinders right now. It's great, and you're right at the cusp of Garrett Cole coming back. He had another start. I think it was either Sunday or yesterday. It was another good outing. No setbacks, knock on wood, for right now. So you're within maybe 2 weeks away, not even.
Yeah. And I mean, not as much, because obviously we've been talking about how well the pitcher staff has been, but like I couldn't believe watching yesterday's game too how great Rodon's numbers are, and can you imagine if Heel and Rodon keep doing what they're doing, and then Cole comes back and he's somewhat successful?
Successful. He's going to be successful. There's no doubt in my mind that he wouldn't be successful. And you're 100% right. We're going to have like a 3-headed monster going, and hopefully they last the whole year. Another knock on wood, because Heel hasn't pitched in basically 2 years. And they're not going to say he has an innings limit because they don't want to put that out there. But you could already see, even the last game, they took him out in the 6th inning. He had 85 pitches or so. They're saving him. Like, they could have, he could have went to the 7th, but he wasn't as sharp as he was all those other games. He gave up 3 runs, which still is a great pitching performance, in my opinion. His ERA is still right around 2. So, and Lugo just got roughed up not only yesterday against the Yankees a little bit, but the game before. So I think he leads the American League in ERA right now. We'd have to check, and maybe I'll check in a little bit. But you're right; those guys are good, and the other 2 aren't doing bad either. Stroman's still strong. Cortez is pretty good. Like, to me, their weakest link right now is Cortez.
And have they made any mention of what's going to happen when Cole comes back?
Well, he's just going to slide right in, because right now Clark Schmidt is hurt, so you don't know when he's coming back.
Oh, that's right, because the other day, what's his name pitched?
Poteet.
Yeah.
And he did good against the Dodgers. Like, he pitched, I think it was 5 good innings. He held them for a while. That was game 1 of the series where they didn't score.
Right.
So they, both teams pitched really well in game 1. We messed up in game 2, and then game 3 was another good game against the Dodgers. And that's how you're gonna have to set yourself up. Like, June is a hard month for the Yankees, and probably a lot of teams in baseball. Their schedule is kind of crazy this month. So let's see what we got. Full schedule. So as of right now, so they start off with San Francisco. They swept them. They're above 500. Minnesota Twins were above 500 as well. They were coming off of like a 10 or 11 game win streak, and we snapped that streak and sent them packing 3 losses. Then you have the Dodgers. Now you have the Royals. Then the Red Sox. All these teams are over 500, by the way. Then here's the toughest part, in my opinion, of the schedule of June. You have the Orioles at home and the Braves at home, 6 games. So you got to go like 4-2, and you owe the Orioles payback because they won 3 out of 4 in their ballpark in Camden. So to me, I'd almost want to see a nice little sweep of the Orioles to get back in the game. Now, is that realistic? Probably not. Could it happen? Yes. Do we want it to happen? Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think Baltimore's been a little struggling as of late, right?
Well, yeah, we've distanced the gap a little bit in the East, not by much, because then when I think we had a 4-game lead until the Dodgers series, and then because we lost those 2 games, I think they
That's
won
another
2.
thing I heard you say that surprised me too. We haven't played Boston yet this year.
No, we haven't. This is the first go, and we're on the road against Boston. So like, I'm not. That Boston Yankee rivalry hasn't really flared in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because we've been overtaken by the Astros, and the 1 year we lost to the Red Sox was in the playoffs, but it's still not like what it used to be, right?
Well, Boston hasn't been
good in a couple of years, and we weren't really good last year either. So, we get through that stretch, and then we go on the road to Citi Field. Now, as bad as the Mets are, those are always very interesting games. You normally never sweep those. It's a 2 quick game series in Citi Field, and then you play the Blue Jays on the road for 4 games. So that's the only team that's under 500 really are the Mets. I think the Blue Jays right now are right at 500. They might be a game below or a game above. I checked them a couple days ago, and there were 2 games under 500. So they're right there too. And then listen, then it gets interesting in July, but we'll worry about July when July hits. You know what I mean? But this is a big month for them. This is where you're going to tell what kind of team they're going to be. If they have a very successful month, we'll be all right.
And they definitely started the month right so far. So
100%. Like, you only lost 2 games for the month so far. You're pretty good. I mean, I know it's early, but if you keep this train rolling, you win 3 out of 4 against Kansas City. You take the Boston. If you're winning 2 out of 3,
that's it.
That's all you need to
the name of the
do.
game.
That's all you need to do, and that's what we want to do. So this road trip needs to be pretty good. Their last road trip was amazing. They were 9-1 on the road trip. So if they could do something similar to that, we'll be all right. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I did make a bet for tonight. I was driving home, listening to the fan, and something struck me that every time Aaron Judge has a day off, the next game he plays, he has a monster game. So I bet him to hit a home run. And not only that, for the Yankees to win, and for Stroman to get more than 3.5 strikeouts. So if that happens, I win a good $80.
Wow.
So that's what we're rooting for today when the Yankees play at 8:10 tonight, right? I think it's 8:10. So that's about it for the Yankees. The Mets, we're really not going to talk about. I know Steve wanted us to talk about it. What did he say? That
Francisco Alvarez has been called up.
Oh, okay. So he's back. All of a sudden, the Mets are 3.5 games out of the wild card, and all of a sudden, we haven't heard from him in 2, maybe 3 weeks about anything good with the Mets.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, some guy comes back he's all of a sudden going to spark the team.
Yeah, the savior's back.
Right, the savior's back. And are they on the road? Do we know if they're on the road? They're probably not, because the Yankees are on the road, so they're at home. So they're not even going to be road dogs like he was saying like a month and a half ago. And they're 8 games under 500. So, I mean, I don't know if there's much more to be said about them. No. The only thing I am going to say is apparently McNeil's on the trading block.
Yeah,
Did you hear this?
Apparently they've soured on him.
And the funniest thing is, the 2 suitors that everyone's talking about is Seattle and the Yankees.
Really?
Yeah, I think Seattle needs like an infielder or whatever, what have you. And so the Yankees, if you had like a bugaboo about the team right now, is you have 2 to 3 spots, and they're all in the infield. So you got third base, second base, and first base. Now, am I boring you? I'm sorry.
No,
Are you tired?
Yes.
Yeah, long day for all of us, right? I got it. It's okay. No need. It's all right, baby. We'll get you to sleep soon. But you're not going to trade Rizzo. You're not really going to bench Rizzo for that much longer. He's a veteran guy, and he's like Judge's best friend apparently. So like, you're not going to do anything with him.
But not been doing well.
Agreed. And the guys on the radio, they had a funny little spin on it. And it makes sense to me. They said, you don't have to do anything with first base. because now you have DJ LeMahieu back, and like even though he's like still like chugging along, he's not himself yet. We all gotta remember, for him it's spring training right now, so we'll see him. I'd say I'd want to get worried by the end of the month, like beginning of July. But remember, spring training 6 weeks. He's been back for about 2 right now, so by middle of July, if he's still hitting the way he's hitting now, granted he picked up his average from $180 to almost 230 already, so he's trending in the right direction. He had a couple hits yesterday, which is good.
Yeah.
And that key bunt in the first inning,
Right.
so that's awesome. So if he starts trending upward, no worries. It's almost like they could do what they did in the '96 Yankees. You could platoon your first baseman, because remember they got Tino,
Yeah,
and then they
right.
had Cecil Fielder, and they even did it with Wade Boggs and Charlie Hayes. Remember, like Charlie Hayes caught the last out in the World
Right,
Series. So
right.
if they could get over egos, which I don't see those guys being like egotistical jerks.
And it always helps when you're 20 games over 500.
Almost 30, you know what I mean? So like if they keep winning like that, it's almost like almost on the pace of the '98 Yankees. Like I don't think those guys are mine. My big problem would be second base. I'm not defending Gleyber Torres anymore. I've defended him last year, even though like I didn't even think last year he might have been the most consistent Yankee. But when you're on a bad team, and last year's Yankees were a bad team, like that's not saying much. Okay, you're the most consistent guy on a shitty team. Who cares?
Right.
You know. But he's got to go. Is he gonna go? Unless someone's willing to trade for him, I doubt it. But you need to find like a versatile infielder that could play multiple positions, because once again, you don't know if DJ's gonna get hurt again. So like there's injury concern, and then there's just non-performing concern.
Yeah.
You want to get like a third, and I don't mind Cabrera at third. Like if you get a guy that could play second base, and DJ and Rizzo could share first base, and then DJ and Cabrera could share third base, like whoever's the hotter of the two, and you get somebody for second base, I'm fine with it. Because Cabrera, even though he's batting like 240, he's gotten big hits, which is what I like to see
Got
from
some
him.
pop.
And he's got pop, especially in Yankee Stadium. He's a switch hitter, very valuable. So that's the one thing I would zero in on. And the guys on the radio mentioned a few guys.
But what has McNeil done this year any different than
Torres?
Torres?
Nothing. So that's the thing, right? So they mentioned 2 names. One of the guys, I don't even know what team he plays for. It's Ryan McCann. But he's like a 240, 250 career hitter, has 20 home runs a year. Apparently he could be on the trading block. I don't know what team he plays for, but you know he's reliable. Every year it's the same thing. You know what you're going to get from him. And he plays second, and like you play third or whatever.
All right, listen, I've always loved McNeil, and I always thought that he would be, he was the perfect embodiment of what a Yankee should be, you know?
Yeah, hits over 300, slaps the ball around.
Like reminds
hits
you
home
of like
runs.
a Brett Gardner kind of guy, right? Or
Or even a Derek Jeter type. Like he hit for average.
Well,
he could field. He wasn't as clutch.
I'm saying personality-wise, and,
Okay.
and that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, kind of like you know, that's what I always thought.
You think he's more like Brett? See, I like Brett Gardner's
I love
antics,
Brett. Yeah, I love Brett.
but like
Gardner.
that was because he was like angry. Like his antics were different. To me, when I look at McNeil, and maybe it's just because he's in a Mets uniform. I don't know why, but I feel like he's a crybaby more than Brett Gardner was just angry. Like Brett Gardner wasn't a crybaby. He would get mad at himself, like go in the dugout and like hit the roof with the bat, or like like you know what I mean. Like, but McNeil, like he pops up, or like he gets like a little ball like up the middle in the hole slowly, and some guy makes a decent play on him, and he throws the bat down, or like he throws his helmet. But like to me, he does it like way too much. Like 90% of the time, he's doing that. Where Gardner would do it like in certain situations where like he knew he missed a pitch and didn't deliver, because Brett Gardner was a really good Yankee. Like he was clutch a lot of times. I
loved him.
Me too. And he played with a lot of fire. He was fast. Like whatever. He was great. And he did it for like 11 or 12 years, right?
Yeah, man.
Now, McNeil, I don't know how many years he's been with the Mets. I'm going to say like around 6. But every time you see him, he's like doing something stupid before he even gets to the dugout. But it's like every time he makes it out. And right now, he's batting around 200. That's like 8 out of 10 times. Like, it's a lot. And to me, the way the Yankee clubhouse is right now, I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
I don't need somebody to come over here and start crying the minute he goes, like, he starts off with the team 0 for 10. You know what I mean?
And if you're going to bring somebody who's going to continue doing what Torres is doing, then, like you said, why mess with the chemistry? Just let Torres do what he's doing then.
Right. And
It's
for the
not,
best.
if it's not a detriment to the team and the other guys are picking it up, because he's gonna, at some point he's gonna have some kind of a little streak. He's gonna hit some kind of a little streak, and maybe it comes at a time where his little hot streak picks up for one of the guys that's doing well, slows down a little bit.
Well, you would hope, right? To me, the problem with Torres, and this is why I don't like him anymore, is he's one of those, I guess, head cases where like Rizzo, right? He's not hitting well, but he's still fielding well. Torres can't do either when he's bad.
Yeah.
And like, you can't have a second baseman that's like so involved in the defense a lot of the times, making silly errors. Like he missed a pop-up. Like, how do you miss a pop-up? You're a major league and it's not like it was harder. It's not like he was ranging all the way out there, over the shoulder catch. Like, I give him the benefit of the doubt. It's a regular pop-up. Like, go back to basics. Use 2 hands. Like, what are you doing? And it just seems like it's all like little mental mistakes and like almost borderline being lazy. Like, and then he messes it up. And like, he's lost us more than a few games. Even that Dodger game, like he lost it for us.
Talk about lazy. I know that he's played a couple of times recently, right, with the whole Soto thing, but like watching Grisham play the outfield, it drives me crazy the way he, like, with the glove down here, catching the ball, waiting to the last, like,
I'll be honest with you, I haven't really noticed it.
oh my God, it drives me crazy.
But that would drive me crazy, yes.
Because it's like, you're trying to show off, and it's like the first time you screw up and the ball pops out of your glove or your clothes, you're going to look like a moron.
Which is what happened to the Dodgers on Sunday's game. The guy was going all the way back on a Judge almost home run. It would have probably hit the wall, but he goes back and it goes into his glove and out of his glove. And like, that's inexcusable because that wound up opening the floodgates. And like, they wound up scoring a bunch of runs because of it. Matter of fact, that was right before Grissom hit the home run, because crazy enough, Grissom was batting 5th that day, which is even crazier to me. But I agree with you. Like, all this, like, catching to the sides and like unless you're diving for the ball or you have to like somewhat extend on a play, obviously that's acceptable. But when the ball's like a regular pop fly, it's almost like you should be looking. It's like you're looking at the sun and it's just coming right to you, and both your hands meet with the ball and you just catch it. Then that's it. And I get it. Sometimes you just want to use one hand.
There's certain things that you learn to do when you're a kid that you should continue to do till the day you die, and that's one of those things.
I couldn't agree. Well said. I couldn't agree with you more. That 100%.
Because now all you're doing is teaching these young kids that are watching you to do the same thing.
Yeah, and that's the after effect, right? So you got that, and the kids look to you as role models and emulate you in certain extents, and you're right. Like, the kids are going to start doing that, and then it's sad to say, but baseball isn't as popular as it was when we were growing up.
Oh, for sure.
So like a lot of little kids aren't even playing baseball anymore. So you think, and listen, guys are going to do whatever they want to do. They make tons of money. We're not going to be telling them otherwise. But it's almost like if I was the coach, I'd be screaming at some of these guys, especially guys that barely get any playing time.
Exactly.
And especially guys that can't even hit their weight. Like, I'm glad Grisham hit the 3-run home run. I'm sure 95% of the Yankee world was glad he hit the home run, because if he didn't, we probably would have lost that game and we got swept by the Dodgers, which then I would have been upset about. But, bro, you're not even hitting 100. Like, you're 3 I think he has 6 hits. Out of the 6 hits, 3 of them are home runs.
Yeah.
3.
So it's like, why do anything that's going to jeopardize that?
Right. And listen.
And you know what? The complete flip side of that, it shows you how. What was it yesterday? Who got hit in the hand? Birdie.
Yeah.
And you see how he got to first base, and when the coach, they were checking him out, and he was smiling and laughing at him because he was basically saying, "Are you kidding me? I'm in the starting lineup. I'm not coming out of the game."
Right. And I like that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If he could hit more, I don't think we would need to get a replacement.
Yeah.
Because he can play all over.
Right. He's another Brett Gardner.
Yeah. And he plays not only the infield, he plays the outfield too, which makes him extremely important if he could hit the ball at all. And I heard when he was with the Marlins, he's a very pesky hitter. Like, he's obviously not going to hit, but like he works at bats, which is what the Yankees have done since I was a kid. Like, they wear down the pitching staff, which is what you want all year long. You want to tire guys out.
Yeah, for sure.
1 to 9. I don't care if you're hitting 100 if you're one of these role player guys, but when you're playing, if you're making these guys like 8,
especially
9, 10
nowadays when these pitchers aren't pitching more than 5 innings to begin with. So if you can get,
unless you're the Yankees, which is another thing that's impressive about these guys, they went on some crazy streak where they went like I don't know how many games with pitching into at least the 6th and 7th innings.
yeah, which is unheard of now.
Unheard of, and it's not just one guy; they're all doing it, and it was almost like it was contagious. And even last night, Rondon went to the 7th inning again.
Yeah.
Gave up 1 run.
Yep.
And he was no-hitting them. I want to say it was even
Into
a perfect game.
Into the 5th.
Into the 5th.
Yeah.
And it was almost through the 5th. Like, DJ LeMahieu made that great play at first base in the 5th. I think he had 2 outs in the 5th, and then he gave up a hit. Which, normally, whatever. But, like, he's been... I'm going to go on record right now. If there's anyone that's going to get a no-hitter this year, it's going to be Rodon. His last few starts, he's been going further and further no-hitting people. One of these games this year, he's going to no-hit somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Him or Heel, depending on if he's going to be pitching this whole time.
Yeah, I can see Heel pitching, a no-hitter, giving up 5 walks.
Yeah, but I don't even care. He's been lights out.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
been 100% lights out. But all right, we talked enough about the Yankees. I wanna talk to you a little bit about Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
So I'm on season 6.
All right.
Episode 3 or 4. Episode 2 was when was it JD Smooth came in?
Yeah. Leon.
Bro, the Joe Peppertone episode was hilarious to me. Where like he goes to the dry cleaners and he's like, "Where's my jersey? Where's my Joe Peppertone jersey? I had it since a little kid, whatever, right?" And now he's driving with Leon and he's like, "Yo, that guy's got my Joe Peppertone jersey." And he goes and basically steals it off his back. And then in the same instance, and that was Ken Jeong, the guy from Hangover.
Yes.
And in the same instance, like they're driving a few minutes later and they go to a gas station, like, "Is there 2 Joe Peppertone jerseys?" And he's arguing with the guy. He's like, "Yo, your boy just took my jersey." He's like, "Where'd you get it from?" He's like, "I had it." He's like, "But where'd you get it from? The laundromat?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's not your jersey." He's like, "It's my jersey." He's like, "No, sometimes you lose some, sometimes you win some. I won this one. It's mine now." He's like, No. That's not how I play with these rules. So now I'm really starting to get involved into the show more. Like I said, it was slower in the beginning, but like,
It definitely hits another level when the Leon Black character shows up.
yeah, and he has his whole family there too. Like they were from like the hurricane or whatever, and they adopted the family into the house. Who does that, by the way? First off, like I don't know how that happened. I don't remember how that happened. I must have missed it. But how do you just adopt a family into your house like that?
But that's what's so great about it, because it's like the nonsense that he does, and then he's like the most miserable fuck. So it's like the last person you would expect to do it, but he's doing it.
Right. And then like the toilet paper episode where it's like almost cardboard, and he's like, "I'll get you toilet paper, but I gotta use your bathroom." And then they rat each other out. And
So let me ask you a question. Did you, because I don't remember, it's been so long, but Did you get to the point? Have you seen any of the episodes with Funkhauser?
Oh,
the tall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that Super Dave?
Yes.
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 I thought it was him. Yeah.
And then did you see the episode where
He steals the flowers?
No, what,
Oh.
oh, that too. But where Funkhauser's nephew is at Larry's house and he's getting laid.
No, I haven't seen that
Oh,
yet. Thanks for ruining it.
God.
No, but he's in it a lot in the last couple seasons. He's in it a lot.
Until I think the only reason why he's not in the show at a certain point is because he actually passed away in real life.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So I know. So far, Funkhauser's father passed away the season before. And then this season, his mother passed away. Like she was in the cart, and someone I guess hit her. So they had like a memorial on the side of the highway or whatever. And he steals the flowers to give it to all these different people. It's a whole mess. He has to get them back. The $50 where he takes it out of his shoe when he was jogging. That's what I'm up to right now. So I'm sure I'll get to that soon. I'm halfway through season 6. I can't believe I still have so much more to go. I still have like another 50 episodes. But it's good. You know what it is? It's not even like I told you last week or the week before. It's not even like ha funny. It's more ha funny recently, like the last season and a half, from season 5.
And it's going to be for a while now.
Yeah, I could see that, but like, it's just the things he does. He's so inconsiderate sometimes with people. Like he's at Ted Danson's birthday party, and he's like, "Why are you making this guy wear the tie?" It's like the bow tie. Like, do you really?
That's a whole other thing that just is so great because he's Ted Danson. He plays Ted Danson, and Larry just fucks with him all the time. Yeah. But in the end, they always are doing things together.
Correct.
You know?
It's the same thing with Richard Lewis. It's like he gets his girlfriend, who's Cha-Cha, who's Asia Carrera. No, not Asia. That's the porn star. Her sister, something Carrera, whatever. She was in True Lies, whatever. He gets her a job, and she's like, counts like how many times he goes to the bathroom. Then he wigs out on the doctor about it. He's like, why am I going to tell you how many times I go to the bathroom? I'm like, what's the big deal? And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I go to the doctor a decent amount of times, right? So I'm sitting there watching this thing, and I'm like, why does he have such a problem with answering the question? I'm like, literally every doctor you go to asks you, you know, do you go to the bathroom a lot? Like, how many times? How's your stool? This, that. Like, it's like one of the most general questions besides, you know, what's the matter with you today? You know what I mean? Just answer the fucking question.
So funny.
What's the big deal? But he never wants to do, if he doesn't want to do something, he will not do it. And he reminds me of so many people in our lives. Like, that in itself makes me want to watch the show. Because, like, what is he going to do next, right? And that's why I like the show.
And have you seen any episodes yet where he's at the golf club?
I haven't. Just the one with the weatherman, but that was a couple seasons ago.
Oh, so you haven't seen anything yet with Takashi, the guy who owns the golf course?
No, not yet.
Oh, those are good
They
too.
keep talking about golf, but I haven't seen him actually play golf yet. I saw a clip on TikTok or Instagram where he hits the guy in the middle of the field. I'm waiting for that episode.
That's the last season, though.
Okay,
that's
all right.
this past season.
All right, so I got time for that, but like I want to see him do the golf thing. But yeah, it's good, and like it's killing time because I don't really have much else to watch, and a lot of shows are coming back soon. So hopefully I'm done with that.
What about Outer Range that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago?
I haven't watched that yet. No, it's on the list.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
Period.
Oh,
Zero.
Okay.
0 episodes.
So I actually, because remember, Wander and I were talking about the first episode, and I said I had to shut it off because it was just I couldn't remember the first season. So I actually went and watched the entire first season again, and then I just finished the second season. And
it was amazing.
Very good.
What's it about, Outer Range? Is it like an alien show?
It's not an alien show. It's about it's technically about time travel.
Oh, okay.
But about time travel in a way that you would never expect it.
Okay.
And the way season 2 ends makes you believe that there's definitely going to be a season 3.
Okay.
Which is
so there's only 2 seasons, and I'm assuming 20 episodes.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll get into that soon because I'm almost done with Fargo. I started season 5 yesterday. I think I'm one episode.
Season 5 is
the one with John Hamm.
Oh yeah. And a girl from Ted Lasso.
Yes. So I just started that one.
Good season.
Just
Good
one
season.
episode, and she's already like she got kidnapped, and like she came back, and they're like, "What's going on?" She's nothing. No, she's like pretending like nothing's the matter. So like I can't speak on that, but I remember you guys rated the Fargos, and I'm gonna give you my rating up until season 5. Like I'm not 5 is out, so I liked 1, then 4, then 2, then 3. To me, 3 is the worst season by far, and 3 was Jesus. I can't even remember what 3 was. So one was Lester. One was Lester.
Which one was 4?
4 was the Chris Rock one.
And that was your second favorite?
Yeah, I just like the whole gangster feel of it, and like the
I mean,
training of the kids and
listen,
all that.
I enjoyed all of them.
Like 2 and 4 to me are tough. Like I can interchange them as number 2 on the list, but maybe because
Yeah, but which one
I
was
literally
3 now?
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even remember. It was so bad.
No.
3 was so bad, dude. So bad. I can't even remember what it was. I'm trying to think. 2 was the Kansas City one with the guys with the in Fargo. 1 was Lester. 2 was the one with all the murders between the hillbillies and like the cop that was Aquaman's brother. I forget his name. Something Wilson. Patrick Wilson, maybe? I like that one. I don't remember what 3 was. What was 3? You got it or no? Hold on. Let me. What is it on Hulu?
Oh, season 3 is with McGregor. Who?
Yes! The whole twin aspect and all that other stuff. To me, it was very boring.
Yeah. I now that I'm thinking about it, I think I agree with you.
Yeah, it was very boring. And like the murders weren't even like half really murders half the time. It was like accidents. And it was just.
I definitely agree with you. 3 was probably my least favorite.
Yeah, it's going to be my least favorite, especially if you're so high on 5. I won't be able to talk about 5 and give you the full breakdown till next week. But I'll tell you this, the one with Chris Rock, I watched it the entire weekend. I started it, I think, on like Thursday. And it was done yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed every season. But yeah, I would say I definitely like the Chris Rock one better than season 3.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You saw a different side of Chris
But
Rock.
the first 2 and the last one are definitely the best.
So right now, like I said, it's season 1 was my favorite so far with Lester. That to me, that was just like
Yeah.
awesome and kooky and like it was just great, right? Then it could either be 4 and 2. It could flip flop. Like I said, I just finished 4 and 2 was a little bit in the past a couple weeks ago. But you could interchange those. Right now, 3's on the bottom, so it could be 1, 2, 4, 3, or
and,
1,
and
4,
with,
2, 3.
with this last season, John Hamm is just so good in it. Juno Temple is so good in it. Yeah, it was a great show though.
Yeah,
overall
great show. Like if you only have 1 bad season out of 5, well, and like listen, I still watched it. I was still intrigued at times, but by far season 3 was the most boring and like. Ugh.
Yeah, I've never looked it up to see if there's going to be another season or not.
I'm sure there is. They're riding that until like no one watches it anymore. If you're saying season 5 was so good, they'll have another one. What I do think is rather funny is each season so far has been intertwined with one person in each season, like connects the seasons together. I don't know if you remember, but so remember from season 2. I don't remember how season 1 and season 2. So season 1 and season 2 connects by the main guy that I think is Luke Wilson's brother, Patrick Wilson. He was in the movie Aquaman, the blonde dude. He was the cop, right? So season 2 happened before season 1. That guy's character was the girl in season 1, the female cop, the heavyset girl that was trying to like tell everyone what was going on. They wouldn't listen. Her father. That was his big case that he was always talking about in season 1.
Yes, I do remember that.
So that's that.
I do remember that.
So that's
yes.
that. Now, remember the black dude that's in all these movies? He was the hitman in season 2. At the end, he came from Kansas City.
Yes.
Chris Rock's son that he gave to the Italians, that's him. So 4 connects to 2. Season 3, remember the deaf assassin in season 3?
Yeah.
He was in season 2 to be the assassin. So they all connect. So I think that's wild that all these are true stories and there's one person in each story that connects each season or story, whatever you want to say.
Right.
Which is crazy, which is now that why I'm so hyped about 5. I want to see if that does that again. Don't ruin it. I'll figure it out. But so far, there's one character in each that's somehow connected all the storylines. And it's kind of cool. So.
Yeah, very good. Very worth the watch.
100%. So, I mean, unless you watch anything else, that's all I've been watching.
No.
I've been that and Yankees.
I've been all in on this outer range thing, so that does it for me.
All right, so I mean, that's it. That's all we got for this week. I don't know what else. What else can we say? Well,
Wishes to Wanderer.
Yes, Wanderer. We missed you this week. Hopefully you'll feel better. You probably are not even watching this week, but it's okay. The well wishes is still deserved, and we hope you feel better and you're back with us next week. Everyone else, have yourselves a great week, and we'll be back next week around Tuesday, same time.
Yeah.
All right,
See
folks.
you next week.
Later.